The following is brought to you by the Social Suplex Podcast Network.
BWB, this is One Nation Radio. You better get it right. Rich Latta, James Boyd came to give them life. The Blackest Wrestling Podcast has come to kick all ass and drop it 6 feet if they kicking trash. Word, let me welcome y'all to something different. And if you dig it, man, you should let some friends listen. We be getting it in, that's on the regular, dude. Ravish and flow, but this shit rude. See, James don't rap, so I had to break it down. The whole network, man, we coming for the crown. Raps in the columns, I keep them both covered. Making the beats too, so the listeners can bump it. Hit us with the rating, yeah, I'm saying it's a 5. Before you hit and talk, bob your head side to side. It's One Nation Radio, and this is the beginning. It's Rich, and I'm here with James. It's time to listen to One Nation.
You got to unleash the power of the pyramid.
This is Mike Sempervive from WrestlingObserver.com. Check me out on Wrestling Observer Live every day. And also check out your boys, Rich and James, on One Nation Radio.
This is Kenny Omega. We're listening to One Nation Radio. Check it out, guys. These guys know what's up. Big Kenny Omega fans, and that's all that counts to me. Goodbye and good night. Hey.
Welcome to the March 18th edition of One Nation Live. We are coming to you from the Social Suplex page on Facebook, and we are dropping video with this, which will be later available for on-demand viewing. As you can see, I'm rocking the Social Suplex new shirt. I'm here with James. James, what's going on, man?
Howdy. Don't have my Social Suplex shirt yet.
Don't worry, we're gonna put the shirt on them like subsequent members of the NWO. So you may get whooped on, wow. And then we hand James a red Social Suplex shirt, and then we spray paint you, But I'll tell
you this right now, y'all spray paint me. It's not gonna be nice for y'all.
Well, no, we're not gonna spray paint you.
I'll leave it at that.
We're gonna spray paint someone else, and then hand you the shirt, and then we all celebrate together.
Okay. Can we just not do any spray painting and beating down? Can we, not do violent things? Is that too much?
We will see. But yeah, man.
Okay.
Yeah. So a bunch of things. First, we have to talk about, and this isn't wrestling, but we have to talk about Glenn Big Baby Davis. Now, this guy came out here with quite possibly the most legendary moment of 2018 thus far. What I'm going to do is play some of this audio. Now, James, do you want to let everyone know, the background for this situation while I find the audio?
Yeah. Glenn Big Baby Davis, 2007 Final Four, best player on that team, second best player on that team, leader of the team, LSU, kind of a big story. He was like an All-American in high school as far as being a defensive lineman, and he decided to stick with basketball. Problem is, he was like 5'8", 5'10", and he was, kind of stocky. He wasn't like not nearly anything like the kind of build that you would expect an NBA type of athlete to have.
6'9". He was like 6'8", 6'9".
Sorry?
He was like 6'8", 6'9". You said 5'9".
Oh, I'm sorry. That's what I meant. 6'8", 6'9". Guy that really didn't give his body size, didn't really have a position that he could fit. Like, he kind of had to play the role of a tweener. Was a guy that, because of weight issues or whatever, kind of really didn't know how he was going to fit in the NBA. Stuck around for quite a few years. Hit a big playoff shot. Had a big moment in the NBA playoffs 2010. I think that was game 4, game 3, game 4. I think. Game 4. But anyway, got it. Had to bust his ass to stick around in the NBA, and kind of like one of those guys you say, like, anybody could do this if you're talented, if you have enough of a drive and a passion to want to do this sort of thing. Kind of like that kind of inspirational story. Mm-hmm. That guy, he got caught the other day with a quarter pound of weed on him, and he had $93,000 in cash on him, and so that's a trafficking charge, of course, and people are kind of trying to figure out what's going on. Twitter or whatever else they have their jokes about. You show up to the house, and next thing you know, NBA champion Glenn Big Baby Davis is the plug.
Yes.
And stuff like, well, So next thing you know, he decides to post a video declaring
his innocence. So
yeah, once he goes to court or whatever. So go ahead with it if you have it.
So the audio doesn't do this half the justice. You have to see the video. This man is in a private plane eating Popeye's chicken with an open briefcase with stacks and racks of money with his NBA championship ring in it.
Yeah.
And, you know, and here's the audio.
That's a nice touch.
Yeah. So here we go. Well, hold on. Here we go.
Don't believe. Here's your boy, Big Baby, man. Don't believe all that shit on the internet. I will have my day in court. They just mad because a black man got money, man. Just trying to keep a black man down, man. Hey, man, shout out Rollo, man. All those people, man, getting money, man. My shit legal, man. A lot of jump shots. A whole lot of jump shots. Popeye chicken.
Yes, as y'all heard. So that was the audio, Big Baby Davis. If you have not heard it or saw the video, please go find it. It is on your nearest Twitter. A Twitter retweet near you. Yeah, this is amazing, bro.
Legendary.
Stuntastic. Absolutely, like, yeah, we needed that for the culture. But
yeah. Didn't know we needed it, but now that it's here, yeah, it's definitely an essential.
Yes. Bro, I can't wait for somebody to make the parody videos of these, because you know it's gonna happen. Somebody's gonna be coming out here just doing whatever in the parody video. But let's get to it. Last night I was at an NXT house show in Largo, and it was one of the best NXT Largo events that they've ever done. If you guys follow how NXT does their tours, usually there's an A tour and a B tour. This is like the B tour, the local Florida shows where a lot of the newer trainees basically do their shows. But last night we got the big guns. We had Ricochet show up, Adam Cole, Aleister Black, Kairi Sane, Ember Moon, the Iconic Duo, War Machine, just bunch of folks were in the building. Buddy Murphy, Mandrews, and there was like 5 like great matches on there that like I felt privileged to see. It was damn near a sellout in there, and it was sold out most of the day until they opened up more tickets. So there was like kind of a buzz in there, like we might be seeing something like important that night. So we were in there with the Soul Suplex gear. Shouts out to everyone we talked to, with everything like that. But yeah, man, that was pretty much it. I just wanted to, talk about that real quick. But the major story of the week, the Fabulous Moolah Battle Royal, is no longer a thing. And we hadn't done a show while they did the name of that, and it was gone before we already started it. So, James, what did you think initially about them naming the Fabulous Moolah Battle Royal that? And then we'll get to WWE basically folding to sponsor pressure.
Yeah, I remember hearing about the Moolah Battle Royal and as a joke. At first, when people were saying that they were going to actually do a women's battle royal, it seemed like just something obviously that they need to do, because if they're going to have one for the men, they need to have one for the women, and also because of the amount of women they have on the roster, including NXT and everybody else. That like, if you're going to have all these matches with Rousey and the 2 women's title matches on the main card or whatever else, then you need to have something to get all women on the as well. As just like how you have the Andre Battle Royal.
Yeah.
So we all assumed that it was going to be named after someone, but no one really knew what it was going to be, and the joke was they're going to have a fabulous, because they had the Mae Young Classic, they can't name that after Mae Young as well. They'll have a Fabulous Moolah Battle Royal, and that was a joke. People always knew that, like, if you go and look into Mae's or Moolah's history, is nothing to really celebrate.
It ain't nothing nice, as they say.
Yeah, so after they went ahead and actually named it after Moolah, people, started talking about her history and some of the stuff she has done and been claimed to do by dozens of people, and it's a really really bad look, especially in the wake of the Me Too movement going on over the last year or so. So I knew she had a bunch of stuff, skeletons in her closet, if you will, whatever you want to call them. I had no idea that it was to this kind of thing, to where it was like literally systematic almost, and like just how some of the stuff, how bad it is. So like I'm kind of in shock that they actually went ahead and did this. And you hear about the connection to WWE and everything else, and you also know about the Snuka stuff from last year, but this one is just something that people will not take. And this might be a tipping point on looking at the history of wrestlers and whether or not they actually deserve, some of the wrestlers, whether they deserve like the respect they command from the company.
Yeah, and when the Fabulous Moolah video first dropped, I looked at it and I was like, I can't believe this is happening. In light of the Snuka stuff, as you mentioned, and then immediately my mind flashes to Hogan and the pressure that we knew this was going to create. Like, hey, Fabulous Moolah's out here stealing these women's money, forcing them to live with her, pimping them out essentially, and doing this for, I don't know, like 50 years apparently, like however long it lasted. But this was like, how tone deaf are they? What did they think that, like, they thought this was just going to be okay? So, like, either they thought it wouldn't be a big deal, or, like, they just were stupid and didn't realize, like, what would go on here. I think this is another win for, like, journalism in wrestling, and also fans, like, having the power to change the shit, like, if we feel like there's some type of injustice, and this clearly is that. And I don't think it was necessarily like, hey, WWE changed it because of the fans. Obviously, they changed it because of the sponsors. Like, Snickers was not having this shit. I knew there was something wrong when WWE shut down the comment section for the video. Obviously, they encouraged all the engagement with them and everything like that. And once they took that step, it was like, hold on, something might change here. So it's going to be interesting to see the day they decide to roll Hulk Hogan out there, and because I feel like we're going to get an even bigger version of this fight that went on, and score 1 point for people like David Bixenspan and also Sean Ross Sapp that do great work on kicking the doors in on fuck shit in WWE, which we're going to get to a little bit more to in the Jon Bravo portion of this show. I don't know where James went on his video, but I'm sure he will return. I was shocked that they named it that. I was kind of even more shocked when they pulled the name, and Stephanie McMahon was on Twitter, and she went ahead and basically encouraged people to use their voice, and it was so weird because it's like, Stephanie, you didn't know this stuff? Like, is there any chance in hell Stephanie McMahon didn't know about this stuff, James? Any chance at all? If not, I'll go ahead and carry him. So, I don't think so. We got a comment from Simon. He says, you can't be the empowerer of women one day and praising an abusive pimp the next. Yeah, and it's a head scratcher in one of the biggest ways possible. Now? Yeah, now I can hear you. James, do you think there's any way possible that Stephanie McMahon didn't know about the Moolah stuff, or WWE didn't know about this stuff when she's been such, like, on the inside of that whole thing with Vince's dad and everything like that? Is there any shot in hell they had no idea?
Yeah, definitely there's an idea that Stephanie did not know about that sort of thing. And there's also a possibility that she knew and just, bury it with everything else, with like the Snuka stuff as well. I would say this, like, listening to Simon's comment about being surprised that they decided to put a quote unquote pimp or put over a quote unquote pimp, is like, well, they did sort of put over a Hall of Fame, didn't they?
Yeah. And this bringing into question now the Warrior Award and everything like that. So I've seen people with reactions in the other direction, blaming, like saying this is nothing more than social justice warriors and all that stuff. And to me, all that is just code for we don't care about what women or any type of like social injustice because it doesn't affect us. So, yeah, I've seen some obviously dumbass takes, I feel like, on this stuff that I thought, you know, people just aren't realizing like what this stuff actually means to people. And the way WWE can look for that, like they're such a big company and they have to like tread lightly on this type of stuff, because this is the stuff that goes out to the mainstream, because this stuff is getting picked up on Deadspin. And it's like, did they live to promote the negative stuff of this, or like, you know, why is this like, you know, what goes on as far as, you know, what breaks into the mainstream? Like, how is it always something just terrible?
I don't know, man. Like, there was always an old adage that Vince was kind of one of those guys that thought that any kind of publicity is good publicity. But those days are over. Like, that kind of stuff is just harmful for your business, period. So, you know, as the social media landscape and like interaction with fans changes and evolves, like they're gonna have to, you know, more and more every single year, like adjust to that sort of thing. And like, and that's not just WWE. That's all big businesses, period. This, I guess, you know, this is just a situation where, like, in this instance, this is a story for our realm, but like this is happening all over the world, and it's happening all over America. And I think ultimately it is for the better, to where people are able to fully contextualize people and not realize that like everybody's either a sinner or a saint or whatever, or a devil or an angel. So I think this is for the better.
Yeah. Another thing, so on Friday was the release of the Jon Bravo documentary. Now, everyone was waiting for this, you know, all throughout the week, the last couple weeks. This guy was building up. He had this info on Roman Reigns that was going to basically, you know, change the short term and possibly long term future of WWE. He's been critically panned for this thing, as people have rushed to discredit him and say he has no type of information on Roman Reigns or anything like that. I think what the guy did was smart. As far as if you are a filmmaker, like, this is obviously a part of the documentary. You hype that up. And then what happens with that, he came out and said that he cannot verify the allegations that this man has. And that's kind of what he's always said the whole time. These are allegations against Roman Reigns, that, you know, he was involved with this. So once, and he said there is a laptop that will be released into his custody with the evidence on it. So if there's anything there. So there's like, I feel like the jury's still out here. But the thing that I took from this video, now James, have you seen this whole thing yet?
No, I've had sort of the rundown from the Meltzer and Alvarez breaking news, and then I've also, like, you know, read sort of your synopsis of it too. Right.
So they mentioned a bunch of people in the documentary, like John Cena, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Brock Lesnar, Jinder Mahal, Sheamus, and strangely, a guy named like Chris Cavallini or something like that. Now, if you don't know that name, I'm sure you might know this. Nutrition Solutions. It is a big like meal prep service gym that's in Tampa. And the thing is, with Nutrition Solutions, they have wrestlers posting their stuff all the time. Like, either they got their meals from them, they were doing a workout there, or they're taking pics with the guy Chris himself. And they actually touched on that part in the documentary, and I think that is the real big situation that could arise from this. And everyone's in such a rush to like exonerate Roman Reigns and whatever. Now, James, you're gonna like this. This is bigger than Roman Reigns. Like, if this shit is really like, you know, what it says it is, because to me, I've watched The Wire. All Nutrition Solutions looks like at this point is a front. Like, I'm thinking about writing a column about this. I don't know. Maybe it'll be just here. But Nutrition Solutions looks like they're implicated with this guy, Richard Rodriguez. And what they're doing is parlaying that into relationships with wrestlers to either compensate them with the PEDs and the wrestlers in exchange for that promote their brand, or they're like tied into it even deeper than we think. James, am I crazy for thinking this?
No, you're not crazy. I think the main thing is that I don't know how much in the future they'll be able to further substantiate other stuff. So, like, there's obvious connections, and the connections they highlighted that. But the thing is, they came to this thing so hot with, we have Reigns. There is another guy that that has obviously is a big former WWE type of person, which turned out to be Austin. The thing is, they showed the connections, but they didn't show like any of the evidence that would actually
put dudes away.
Be basically the smoking. There was no smoking gun here.
Right.
It was just the connections. And I mean, for somebody to come out and spend their time for weeks to promote that they're going to quote unquote out somebody for this sort of thing, like for me, it'd been better off if they had just like been almost like
he should have been more low key, like
almost like the FBI. Stuff. They should have just They should have just did everything they needed to do, release it, and then like they would still got the same amount of press around them. Like that strategy they did makes believe that like it will make someone more like to believe that they're full of shit. If you get what I'm saying,
right.
Then like even if they do eventually come around with stuff, people will be like, oh, well, maybe they did come up with whatever they said to finally tie it all together, but. They hyped it up, and like people speculation started running rampant, whatever else. But whenever that computer pops up, like the story's not gonna go away. It's just down for now, and then people are gonna struggle off whatever else, and when it comes up, then it'll come up. Like, but me, my story is like, I don't care who's on PEDs. Like,
right.
that doesn't. I don't give a shit.
Right. The thing is with it, why I think what makes it important is because if these dudes start getting wellness violations, that's going to dramatically change WWE.
Oh yeah.
If Roman Reigns gets another violation,
if
that's
Reigns
60
catches
days.
another PED suspension, like he can't like. He goes to that Randy Orton type of thing where like
right.
They can make him the champion, but they can never like make him the quote unquote face of the company.
Right.
But they want to.
And then like seeing Cena being implicated, Cena has been long to be believed to be drug free. And the thing with Cena is he's always had the magical healing powers all these years. Like he always like shatters like timetables, of beating injury or staying relatively injury free while being that huge. Brock Lesnar is obviously implicated, who has tested positive for PEDs through USADA and everything like that. And Lesnar isn't subject to the wellness policy, but it just kind of shines a unnecessary light, I think, on WWE, especially with them having all their sponsors and dramatically have cleaned up their image from what it was 10 to 15 years ago, where guys were dying under 40 and, everything like that and having heart attacks and, the CTE stuff. It just is something they don't need. And if this kicks in the door on that, it's like, wow, what is their wellness policy really? Who's it protecting? Who's it, exposing? And what's the deal with it? Like, how did they get around this? Like, how are these guys not testing positive more often? Is this just all full of shit? Like, I don't know. I know you don't care about the wellness policy. I think it's interesting because of those reasons. Now, obviously, it is a cosmetic business, and if you were taking PEDs to get an advantage, like, say you're Sami Zayn, and I think I said this to Josh off air, if you're Sami Zayn, right, and you're busting your ass and you're being the best guy possible, right,
mm-hmm.
and you're killing it in your promos, your matches, anything like that, and then this other guy over here is using, like, some type of PEDs and then getting shot to the world title or main events or anything like that, that's an unfair advantage, wouldn't you say? In Vince McMahon's WWE?
Yeah. And I mean, you can go ahead and say what you want to say about who you just named, because, like, that person also is named on here. Like, we know exactly, you're talking about gender. But, yeah like, but, yeah, he, I definitely see what you're saying. And like, that's the same thing when everyone talks about it in sports with PEDs, like, as far as, like, if you're perfect example is the Barry Bonds stuff, where like Barry Bonds is the best player in the world, and then in 1998 he has an MVP level season, a season that has won an MVP award again, and then Goose, McGuire, and Sosa that look, that claim that the only thing they're taking is Andro, and they're hitting 66 and 70 home runs, and he's like, all right. Okay,
I got something for that.
Y'all okay with this? All right, and then next thing you know, you look at the track, and then all of a sudden, like you look at his 2000 as his head explodes, and 2000 and through 2004 happens. He puts up like numbers that look like out of a video game on easy, and that's where we are with him. Like, yeah, that's exactly what it is. Like whether it's that or it's Brady Anderson's 50 home run season or that all types of stuff like that has happened with people, PEDs, whatever else. Like the pressure is real. Like people want to succeed, and if PEDs is the level that they have to go to reach it, some will do that because that's how bad they want it. Like that's the reason why you want that out of your sport or your fake sport, whatever you want to call it. So we'll see. Like I'm not. Like we'll see what happens with with all this other stuff, but like for right now, this is a big bunch of nothing. It's a big dud for now. It can change, but that's where we are.
Yeah. So, like I said, the Reign stuff was like not what everyone was anticipating right now, but I think the thing to take away from it is that nutrition solutions thing. That I don't think even Jon Bravo realized what he may be kicking the door in on that. I don't know. I've never really heard of the guy before this or anything, so I don't know what his motives may be or anything like that. But let's move on. John Cena and The Undertaker seems like it's off and running now. John Cena came out here and cut an intense promo on The Undertaker, exposed him, talked a bunch of shit. It was not really what I was expecting because they didn't treat it like, hey, this is Cena that has to be terrified of The Undertaker, which I kind of appreciate because at this point, why should John Cena be terrified of The Undertaker? Now, what did you think of this promo, James?
I thought it was weird. Like, the story is that I feel like there's 1, 2, 3 too many work shoot promos or angles going on right now with inside of WWE to work to get this WrestleMania to go. Uh-huh. I thought the thing that gave Roman and Lesnar saying the uniqueness of it was that that's the only thing going right now that's like, look at behind the scenes and look at what's going on in front of the camera, and then you look at and then you show what a lot of people believe is going on behind there to show to the fans to try to get Roman Reigns over. And this, on the other hand, is saying that like Cena has been begging and pleading to get a match for Undertaker, and Undertaker has basically shunned him or whatever because he's retired or whatever else, and then he called him egomaniac, and it's like, well, I don't know, dude. Like, you're the one that's like begging and pleading and wishing and hoping and praying to get a WrestleMania match, even though you've done nothing but fucking lose every single time you have an opportunity. Maybe you don't deserve one. So it's kind of, but whatever. We'll see what happens with it from here on. Like, that kind of talk makes you think they're really going to do Biker Taker, which is like, I'm good on that, but whatever. Like, if that's the way they explain the fact he's doing it again, to be like, well, I retired the dead man gimmick, and so I'm still the Undertaker. This is what I have left. Then, like, all right, like, does he come back as like next year Callis?
Mean Mark Callis? Yeah, man. It's gonna be interesting because I liked what he did. Because it's it's calling the Undertaker into like is someone that is going to make the mic work exciting, because when you do a feud with Undertaker, you normally have to carry a lot more than what Undertaker is going to contribute, especially at this stage, because I don't know if he's going to come out here like, in the lead up to WrestleMania 28 where he does the mic work with Triple H and Shawn Michaels, and it really like went because of that. Now, WrestleMania 30, it was CM Punk basically coming out here and doing a lion's share. WrestleMania 30 was Paul Heyman. WrestleMania 31 was Bray Wyatt. WrestleMania 32 was these weird ass like Shane McMahon promos and Vince McMahon and Undertaker was looking like a bitch and all this other stuff. Last year it was Roman Reigns, so he wasn't going to do no talking or anything. So this might be like, I hope the Undertaker comes out here and cuts promos on Cena that kind of dig into Cena a little bit, like, hey, like you said, like I'm the one that's desperate. What you mean? Like, you came out here and got your ass whooped all throughout this time, and you crying like a bitch, essentially. And I remember like when your career started, I'm the one that basically like co-signed your dumb ass, like like all that stuff backstage with all that with Cena. And I think that needs to happen for me to at least get into this, and knowing that I feel like this match isn't going to be worth it, like as far as in the ring, all they have is like the promo work. And I think Cena like probably did about as good of a job with it. You hit him with like some stuff to let him know he was there and he was not going anywhere, and he's not Roman Reigns. Like they're not gonna have to bring in Shawn Michaels to explain to John Cena like, hey, you're fighting the Undertaker. No, John Cena knows who the fuck he is at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I really, really, really want this to go off well. I really would like to see one last really good Undertaker match, but I am really concerned about Cena's regression in the ring, or I don't know if that's rust or whatever else, but like whatever it is, I don't know if he's gonna be able to knock it off over the next 3 weeks, because he ain't been able to. He's been back for a minute now, and he still hasn't like gotten progressively better in the ring from a technical standpoint. He's always a guy that's been rough in the ring anyway, from a technical standpoint, as far as like punches and code reds and the springboard stunner or whatever else you want to say that's wacky that he does, because he's not that coordinated. But he ultimately would. He figured out how to have really, really good matches at like around 250, from time to time, especially like all the time when it came to 2015 and 2016. But it's almost like he's back to like being like 2014 Cena. I don't know if that guy can carry Undertaker in the state he's in right now. And people say that Undertaker should be healthy this year, but like given what he's done
don't they say that every year?
Few years, like given what we've had from Undertaker since WrestleMania 30, I don't see why there's a reason to expect him to be healthy. This is like saying like there's an injured football player, injured basketball player, and be like, if that dude just stays healthy, he's like, well, he's never healthy, so why the fuck would I expect it now? Like, he's at that point where like you can't expect him. Like, there's no reason to expect Chris Paul to play 70 games in a season. Why would you expect Undertaker to be able to be healthy for a stretch of time?
Like, the Undertaker's like hips and body injuries are like Andrew Bynum's knees at this point. Like, they're just never gonna be right. And it's like, I don't know, man. Like what we living for? Like with this Undertaker stuff anymore? Like, bro, I don't know about you. I know you're like the biggest Undertaker fan that I know, but me, it's like, bro, like when you look at it, he should have laid it down at WrestleMania 28.
I mean, I would have said he should have after 30 he should have retired. That's what I would still be on that. Like, if you're going to beat him for Brock Lesnar, then he needs to stay retired. Like, I understand 2015 and the year he had in that feud over the summer and into that fall with Lesnar.
That was found money.
Was great.
That was found money at this point.
That was like like when people were terminal or whatever, and all of a sudden like they kind of like bounce back for a little bit. Like, that might be that. Like, that was like rebounding, and then now he's circling the drain.
Right. So I'm not sure, man, but like, I don't know if this is going to be the last Undertaker match, but it needs to be. This is where the streak died, and this could be like where his career, like, forever goes to rest in peace. But I think Dave Fenichel wrote a pretty interesting column.
Yeah.
What's up? Yeah, so I saw Dave, now what's up, Dave, write a column floating the idea that this could be John Cena's last match, and Cena heading into retirement after WrestleMania 34. What would you think about that possibility, James?
That's what I think of it. My facial expression, which is get the fuck out of here. Yeah, that's not happening. Like,
Cena got too much money.
He'll never quit. Like, I don't know about him quitting full time, whatever. But like, if he's gonna at the least he'll come back and be a guy that will hop into WrestleMania because he's still the top draw in the company. Still.
Yeah, if you quit, like, don't leave while you're hot. That's how May screwed up, as Kanye once said. But they, you know, with Cena possibly retiring, I was like, I mean, he could do it. But I don't see Cena as the type that would want to walk away like that. I feel like Cena's going to be like one of those hanger-ons, like The Undertaker. Like, Cena's only 40 years old. I know he's doing a lot of the mainstream stuff. He's trying to get into acting, and some of the stuff is doing very well. Some of it isn't. But I feel like he's taking his lumps right now. Yes, he's on borrowed time, but he's going to be a guy that is going to be around for the next couple years in that possibly Undertaker role. Like, I'm only showing up at SummerSlam or possibly WrestleMania or the month or before. I think he's going to try to do the transition in a softer way than like someone like a Rock did, where it was like, yeah, I'm leaving, I'm gone for 7 years, and then I'll be back. I think Cena's going to be a guy, as much as he's able to wrestle, he's going to, because he loves it.
Yeah, and also he's probably getting paid about. He's probably getting paid like $1.5 million to a gig. Like, that's kind of nice. Like, if you only got to, you know, if you look at the future or whatever, and you say, oh yeah, you only have to do like 4 matches to pay you like $4 million. Like, kind of nice.
Hey, John Cena, keep getting them checks, bruh. Don't let Dave Finisher try to force you into early retirement. Unlike The Undertaker, like, bro, I'm ready. Like, yeah. I've been ready. Like, it's enough. You in your mid-50s now, or headed there. Like, what else do you have, like, not what more do you have to lose, is what more do you have to give? Like, like, do we need that still? Like, are we holding on to, like, yo, I can't imagine a WrestleMania without The Undertaker. Bro, everyone has to go at some point. And I don't know if you heard me on Chad's show, like, I was just like just blown, like, why can't people let The Undertaker go?
I mean, I will say this. This will be the biggest drawing match of the show. Like, this will draw more than Lesnar Reigns. This will draw more than Rousey. But anybody that's not a casual fan that has watched, or someone that's watched WrestleMania year over year, like, they know that, like, Undertaker is not, like, he's not doing what he did from, like, 2013 all the way back to, like, you know, 2004. Like, that's not the same guy. But if you're a casual fan, that's a gigantic match. That's absolutely a match that they should have done, you know,
that's their fault.
7 years ago or something like that.
Look,
yeah, they fucked up.
That's their fault. They wanted to keep John Cena away from The Undertaker all these years, and then look up. Like, obviously, it would be stupid if they had never wrestled at WrestleMania, and it would be even stupider. Like, I prefer it happen now to it have not happened, like, period, at all. Like, but they obviously should have done this, like, 2011. Like, they could have done this, like, something like that. Like, yo, Cena and Undertaker, run it. But, you know, they had their own plans, and WWE likes to stick with their plans. But let's move off of Undertaker and Cena for the moment, and let's talk about Brock Lesnar and Ronda Rousey. Now, both of these folks are doing their own individual storylines and being advertised in, you know, their own ways. What I found interesting was Brock Lesnar was not advertised, or was advertised to show up finally this week in Detroit for Reigns, and then he ended up not showing up again. Rousey had the report that she was going to be on every single Raw. Then she wasn't on Raw. We later found out that she was on, I believe, the Ellen show, like promoting like WWE and everything like that, and it would just be too much to fly her across country. Cool, I understand that. Everyone's not John Cena that just like fights through it. But the deal with that is they came out and later yanked the article that said that she would be on every Raw, and I believe it is now, like, she is back on every Raw. until WrestleMania. Now, this is what I was saying was you before, James.
She is.
Yeah, like, so this was had they never announced it in the first place, that was the perfect place to kind of end it. Like, you know, we were saying, like, how are they going to keep this hot for a more, you know, amount of time? Like, they can't just, like, yank her off TV, but then they just do. Is this a problem with this false advertising stuff to forward these storylines in real life? And then also in Ronda's situation, which would be real, because people were showing up for these shows, expecting to see these people, paying money, and they're not getting anything out of it. Now, do you feel, I know you probably don't have much sympathy for the patron, you know, that doesn't, you know, that shows up and doesn't get the advertisement, but they're using this non-advertisement stuff as a plot device now. Like, especially with Lesnar, which I feel like is going to backfire hugely, and I'll get into that in a moment, but I'll just throw it to you.
Yeah, I mean, for the people that wanted to see that these people WWE have paid millions of dollars to, because they are a draw, right?
Right. Supposedly. Draw.
Supposedly, right? Yeah. So,
even though Raw did like a great rating last week.
Yeah, but my point is, when you advertise somebody and you pay them because they are a draw, and you advertise them because they are a draw, like you say they are, and then you pull them off air, that's bullshit. Like, granted, you can't do this all the time. Like, card is subject to change, blah, blah, blase squad, I get that. But they had no reason to put them, or they did have a reason why they decided that they wanted to say that Rousey was going to be on every single Raw going into WrestleMania, and it was in part because they thought that it was going to be difficult for the crowd to accept her, especially diehards, to come in and treat her as anything other than an interloper. Yeah. So they decided they were going to make her actually say that she's actually one of the girls and go out there and be a part of the everyday product. Mm-hmm. And then I personally think what happened is it ended up going a lot better than they thought it was going to originally. It was like, holy shit, she's over like we're over here. She doesn't need to be on TV that much anymore or whatever else. And then they kind of like adjusted from there. Now, it's 1 week. She's only gonna miss 1 week on a what was it, like, this was 7 episodes or 6 or 8 episodes. She's only gonna miss 1 episode. Right. I'm good. I'm fine on that. With that. Like, that's more than enough to get over this feud.
Right. Now, in Lesnar, what do you think about the Lesnar side of this? Like,
oof. That's just for heat. Like, they really want you to go into WrestleMania booing Lesnar off, and wanting to champion behind Reigns, who is, you know, as we've always said for a few years now, is the part-time, is a part-time Punisher. But yeah, it ain't gonna work. Right, like, we saw what happened. Like, he got suspended for being a renegade and then bucking up and standing up to Vince McMahon. And Vince said that he was suspended, and the crowd cheered. Like, we always talk about all these moments where different things happen. Whether it was Reigns beating the hell out of Triple H at TLC in 2014. Yep. I'm sorry, 15, or punching out Vince or whatever else, or spearing even Stephanie for a time. And, like, we think that got that got Reigns over for like a week. Well, this got him on for 5 minutes. And he's back to being the guy that people don't want to see. So,
right. And I think the deal with it is going to backfire with Brock Lesnar's case, because what they're doing now is creating a commodity with Lesnar. They are basically saying whenever the fuck Brock Lesnar shows up, it's going down. And what are people, when Brock Lesnar's music hits and he walks out there, James, what is going to happen? I'll tell you.
I mean, the crowd's going to pop.
Yes, they're going to pop. They're going to go crazy. They're going to want him to kill Roman Reigns. And it's completely the opposite, like, of what's going to happen. I can see this now. Mark this, March 18th, One Nation Live. Rich is telling you, the moment Brock Lesnar comes on the screen, people are not going to be booing him, ready to, you know, get him the fuck out of here like that. They're going to be hoping he kills Roman Reigns. Now, what they should have done is brought his ass to TV, brought him out there, and had Roman Reigns whoop his ass week after week. Like, yo, Lesnar can't do nothing with this dude now. He's not the same guy that he fought 3 years ago. This guy, Reigns, it's not so much what he has to do with the talking. He's doing it with these, James, and that's what they need to do, because he's going to have to earn it physically. And if what they do is keep them apart and try to like do this whole fake shoot work angle, like, it's so temporary. It is so temporary, and it's not going to last at all. The night after WrestleMania, when Roman Reigns walks out there with that red fucking belt, he's going to get booed, and he's going to be in a worse position now, and then you're going to want someone to beat that man immediately. This is not how you do it. This is like Brock Lesnar, like he needs to be shown this, though, weak.
Right? I get where they went, why they went with that.
Go ahead. You said,
yeah, I get where they went with that, but I would say that if they come out next week and Lesnar's there and Heyman's there, and Heyman comes out and they both basically laugh off what Roman has had to say over the past 2 weeks, I'm going to flip a fucking gasket, because they should immediately come out. Lesnar should let Heyman talk for like 15 seconds. Take the mic from them and then say, bring your ass out here, and then they just brawl, and then there's pull aparts and all that kind of stuff. Like, at this point, Lesnar needs to be somebody that is quote unquote that is bothered by what Reigns is saying. Like, it needs to be that. Like, this is the second time they fought. This should be a grudge match. Like, this needs to be a no DQ match type of thing. Like, it needs to be like, it's besides this stupid fucking belt that people don't give a shit about, and it's never on TV. It's beyond that. Like, it needs to actually be like a heated thing, as opposed to, I'm saying that you don't give a shit, even though, like, I know you don't give a shit and everyone knows you don't give a shit, so, like, why should I give a shit that you think that I don't give a shit? Like, that's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's almost like when Jim talks about Orton and the fucking list, and then Orton comes out and says, I don't give a shit about that list. It's like, well, it makes Jinder look like a fucking moron.
Yeah.
So, like, it needs to be like shown that, like, Lesnar's pissed off by what Roman's has done.
Right, and I think
otherwise, what's the point?
The point is to hand it over to Roman, to make him look good, James. That's what.
but I mean, as far as from getting the fans to actually want to not cheer Strowman to high heavens during that match in New Orleans. That's what I mean.
Yeah, so I think Reigns needs to be in a position of dominance. He needs to be whooping at me. Like, he needs to, quote-unquote, break his suspension next week, run in from the crowd, and attack Lesnar, however you want to do it. But it can't be he jumps him from behind. It has to be he walks up to that man and drags him. Like, it's real simple, I feel like.
Yeah, I agree.
So let's move on. Fastlane. We watched that last week. We saw AJ Styles come out here and get the victory in the 6-way match. Yes, Baron Corbin did not win the WWE Championship. Dave Fenichel, stop trying to troll the internet. We had Shinsuke Nakamura and Rusev. They came out here and did their thing in the opening match, and between that, they had also the Usos and the New Day. The Bludgeon Brothers came out there. What did you think of that show overall, James? And in contrast to Elimination Chamber, where it was predictable, quote-unquote, in a bad way at Elimination Chamber, and then predictable, quote-unquote, in a good way for Fastlane.
Yeah, I thought it was a thumbs-up show. The shows, I mean, there was no match on there aside from maybe the women's tag match. You would say is like, yeah, that match stinks, or that match is just not is below good. Everything else was solid, and I think the beatdown that the Bludgeon Brothers gave the New Day was in the Usos. I thought that was great. I thought that was I thought that in short order, these squash matches that the Bludgeon Brothers have had, they've gotten over. Like, they come out with their music and, their get-ups that they're wearing and those sledgehammers that we all thought were fake or whatever. And, the crowd wouldn't pop to them or react to them until they would slaughter guys, and then they would get over. And this was just a continuation of that and showing, like, these guys have laid waste to the entire SmackDown Live undercard of the tag team division, and now they're going for the two top dogs, and, like, they can really put these dudes on the shelf. So I thought they got over. I thought it was a big time thing, and I thought it was great. And I don't know what they're going to do as far as if they're going to be a stipulation on their triple threat match at WrestleMania or whatever else. But I thought that these are the three right teams for each other. The Charlotte match, I thought the Charlotte Ruby Riott match was really good. I thought that Ruby Riott, for a first pay-per-view singles match, acquitted herself very well. I think that I said this beforehand, like, if she's getting this match at like the wrong time of the year, like if this was later on hype or whatever, we weren't stuck on the train tracks to WrestleMania, like they could have done more Ruby Riott to try to possibly get her over, but like it was a good match. Just the problem is, like, no one believed any of her near falls. Nobody, right. Because she has been really protected that well, and everybody knows, like, we're going to WrestleMania, and Charlotte will be on the WrestleMania card, and will not be no Ruby Riott, at least not yet. But I think that was a nice spot for her, and it was okay for her to lose because she's not that over yet. Now the 6-way, 5-way or 6-way, I can't remember.
I believe it was a 6-way.
6-way, okay. So it's 6-way. I thought it was a really good match. I enjoyed the match, and the right person won, and that's all you can ask for. And I thought they got some really good shots. I thought the storyline, I mean, if they want to continue with the Shane and the Canadians thing, cool. I'm kind of hit my limit with that, but they did it in a nice way. They did it in a good way, explaining like that these two didn't win because what happened with Shane or whatever. Continuation of that, but I thought the shot of Cena after doing all of this shit over the past like month, I mean, he's been out here scrambling, gambling, trying to get to a WrestleMania match, and like he realized like I'm out of options, and he's like devastated. Like the face reminded me of like after he lost to Rock after WrestleMania 28, just devastated in the aisleway. He just in the ring, like we pushed away the camera. I thought it was a nice touch. Yeah, so like I thought it was a good match, and I thought SmackDown like setting the road towards WrestleMania. There for all of the crap we went through for the past about a year with SmackDown Live, it seems that like we're set up for a really nice SmackDown side of the card for WrestleMania, which like I didn't think they were going to be able to do this, but
I would have never seen that coming. Like I wouldn't have seen that coming. Like I like the 6-way. I also like Nakamura and Rusev. I thought it was Nakamura's best match on the main roster thus far. It's amazing what happens when you don't have to wrestle Baron Corbin and Jinder Mahal on pay-per-view. Nakamura was back to looking like his normal self. And putting him in there with AJ Styles, I think, is going to be a blessing. And I think fans are in for such a special match that this is going to really make this year's WrestleMania feel whole. Like, you feel like, yo, it's two of the best guys in the business, like, between the ropes, that the fans really are behind going at it to see who's the best. And I think they may be resting on that a little bit, storytelling-wise now, like, because they've kind of come slow out the blocks with this, and we'll get this more to this in a little bit. But they... Nakamura needed this a lot because there's a lot that was around him that people either didn't understand or WWE just thought they could fix with a Royal Rumble win, because there's a lot of questions out there with him. Is he ready to be the champion now? They had people wanted him to be the champion at SummerSlam. Will they still want it now? I haven't thought about who's going to win this match or really care, because I'm like, man, I think both of these guys like deserve to win or, would be, good champions in the follow-up. It's just, I don't know if they've made AJ Styles necessarily look the best as champion. They could have done better. But I don't know. What do you think about that, James? Like as far as like Styles and Nakamura, like the winner and who can do the most with the belt going forward?
At this point, I've like, even after Royal Rumble, I always thought that if they ever did that for the belt, that AJ would be the person to win. I felt more work for Nakamura to be champion. Like, even at SummerSlam, when it was like, okay, well, yeah, he has more going for him than Jinder fucking Mahal, but like, in a normal situation, like, that guy would not become champion. Like, that's kind of out of nowhere. And now, you know, he doesn't really have. He has like the credentials to show you that, like, the Royal Rumble match, him beating Rusev, and a few other things here and there. Like, he's showing you flashes, like, oh yeah, this guy's actually a legit guy, for somebody to be taken seriously at the top of the card. But I think if they're relying on what happened in Wrestle Kingdom 10, then was it 10 or 11? I can't remember.
They fought at Wrestle Kingdom 10.
Yeah, 10. Then they definitely need to. It definitely needs to be edgy. It goes over and then like continues on his path to try to like. Get himself hotter, build himself up from as far as a win-loss perspective, because like he's taken a lot of L's over the last 3 or 2 months. So I think he needs a big win to kind of like, you know, for the WrestleMania thing, because like was he gonna be 1-2 and then like lose to Jericho, a person he should have beaten, and lose and then like beat the only person he beat was Shane, you know?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I'm being kind of naive here, but I kind of feel like, you know, he's on SmackDown for a reason, and like his reason to be the top guy on SmackDown, so he needs to, you know, start racking up some, you know, important big wins at this point now. Like now that it's WrestleMania season and we moved that bullshit to the side.
Yeah.
That was gender. As far as Nakamura, I think this is like, even if he loses, like if he showcases himself in a way, like the crowd will still, like, you know. There's been plenty of examples of guys losing and while getting over in the tip while losing. Like, given what he's shown on the main roster, like he goes out there and has himself a Sami Zayn NXT Dallas match. He'll show up the next night, get cheered, be just over as he was before. Like, so I'm not, or as he was when he first showed up. So I think that this match has potential to like springboard both of them, even regardless of whoever wins or loses.
Yeah. So yeah.
And for the real quick, and for the record, I think they're definitely going to have one of those kinds of matches. There's not like, for me, I'll be stunned if they don't have one of these like near 5-star type matches.
Right.
I'll be stunned.
Like, and also like, you know, if you're expecting like, or if you're not expecting this match to be great, I don't know what type of wrestling you've been watching over the past couple years, because if you think AJ Styles is about to show up at WrestleMania with Shinsuke Nakamura and not want to like go out there and lose his damn mind and ball the fuck out, as we say, like I feel like we're going to see a 50-point game from AJ Styles at WrestleMania, especially with that guy Nakamura. And I feel like Nakamura is going to be like, oh well, you know, Nakamura has had a rep of only showing up for the big shows, and this goes back to New Japan. I feel like this is going to be some like mashup of the Nakamura versus Kota Ibushi and then the Nakamura versus Sami Zayn. It's out of that tree. And if you didn't understand how great that was, I don't know what the fuck you're watching. So,
yeah,
like
I have a question though. Do you think, given that they are, you know, for all the stuff we just said, they are, after all, they are still in WWE. Do you think they're going to wrestle their match? Or do you think they're going to still figure out how to wrestle their match within the confines of a WWE concept? You know what I'm saying? Like, is it going to be, you know, somebody gets the advantage, then somebody gets the heat, and then somebody does a hold spot, and someone gets cut off, and then someone gets a comeback, and then they're trading, and it goes into trading near falls again. Do you think they're just going to be able to go out there and basically say, Vince has the wherewithal to say, go out there and do what y'all want to do. This is the finish. This is who person goes over, or whatever else, and get out the way.
I think AJ Styles has commanded that level of respect from Vince McMahon at this point for that to happen. Styles is the reason that this match is happening now. It's a reason that it didn't happen before. I think these guys are going to get the green light that Flo Rida and them was rapping about last year. You know, give me the green light. Yep. And
okay,
it's about to be on and popping in these streets with Styles and Nakamura. So now, as far as like the storytelling with this, and we're kind of jumping ahead now. I'll come back to the Zayn and Owens and the Shane stuff. What do you think about what they've done so far? To me, it's just it's the simple, you know, babyface versus babyface storytelling, like where they get a tag team in there, a heel tag team. That's Rusev Day. And now these guys are going to essentially try to outcompete each other over the next couple of weeks. Or do we need to see someone get nasty? Do we need to see an attack? Do we need to have AJ Styles turn? Do we need to have, like, you know, another type of element? Or will you think this will work in comparison to everything else that just kind of feels so much more like lifelike, like the Reigns and Lesnar things, like, even though it's fake as hell, like, has like an element of reality in it. Undertaker and Cena, like, there's something about the promos that are grabbing you. This one is like, they're just saying, it's a dream match.
There's actually a tension there. There's no like, you know, it's not a respect off. Yeah,
right.
I think the way into that will be what they laid out on Tuesday, where Nakamura says that I'm going to protect you until I can put a knee in your face, and I think that over time it's going to grate on AJ, and AJ is going to eventually fire up on him and say, "I don't need your goddamn protection. I'm the goddamn WWE champion. What the fuck are you thinking?"
Yeah.
And then eventually we're going to get into it through that way. I don't know what's going to be maybe
Catalyst
it's a tag match that they have next week or whatever. I don't know, but I think it's coming. So I'm not really that concerned, but I think that's their way to do it.
Yeah.
Maybe they come up with something else. I don't know. Maybe they don't do it, which I would hope that they do it. Like, you know,
I'm not here for this respect.
You would think that they would have something. Yeah, you would think that they would have something more than just respect, but we'll see.
And then you can say that for Charlotte and Asuka as well. Like, you know, it's gonna be great. We know it. What else you got?
But I don't know. Like, maybe it's, I don't know. But like, I felt like I was okay with what they did on. Tuesday.
I thought they started off really good with that. Yeah, like I loved Charlotte's. Like, I loved her promo. Like, that was the first time that I can remember where Charlotte, since being a quote unquote babyface, a good person, actually cut a promo where she actually came off as likable, as opposed to basically being like, I pretty much cut the same exact promo I always cut when I was a heel, when I was with Ric Flair and I was with my dad and I was with Dana Brooke. And except now I get cheered. Like, at least now, like, she came off like really likable and looking like somebody like she has hopes and dreams and she wants to accomplish this to prove that she's the best. And like, that's aspirational. Like, before, just like, you know, I'm the queen, I'm genetically superior. Who are you talking like that? And then her cadence when she talks is really heelish. So that also has her behind the eight ball when it comes to anything she always does anyway. So I thought she came off really, really good. And I just hope that they cut down on the Asuka talking back and forth stuff and just let her more or less, you know, kind of find her, whatever her needed face is, right? Like, she needs one of those. Mm-hmm. Like, when she says something like, kind of, besides just everyone's ready for Asuka, like, she needs to have like a cute little thing that pop the crowd, besides no one's ready for Asuka. Yeah. Yeah, man. So, Shane McMahon took an ass whooping this week. And he took an ass whooping for the ages. Sami Zayn, Stone Cold Sami Zayn, and Stone Cold Kevin Owens beat the hell out of that McMahon. How did this make you feel? Because I know I overflow with joy. I've been waiting to see them put their hands on Shane McMahon's punk ass for months. And this guy has been fucking them out of title matches and everything like that. Where's this going, James? Like, and what did you think? You know, what kind of joy did this bring to you?
Oh my God! Like, I was so happy. I think it made me think of the Vince thing, where he's like, "Promise me that I can put my hands on a McMahon or whatever else," and then he gets the handshake and he rears back and headbutts me like, "I outsmarted this fucker." Like, you know, you said you don't leave an absence or whatever. You don't leave an absence for being commissioner. All right. So you're no longer like ruling over me, can dictate whether or not you fire me. All right. I'm going to whoop your monkey ass. Yeah. And both of them whooped the hell out of him. And I thought it was great. And I thought it was a great, like, way to show them, like, getting back together as far as, like, you know, friends argue, they fight from time to time, and they have issues or whatever, but eventually they came back together, and they came back to the purpose of putting Shane McMahon's fuck ass on the shelf. So I was happy. Now, I'm interested to see what they do with Daniel Bryan next week. Like, I mean, there's been talk that it could be Daniel Bryan could be the special guest referee in a three-way type match or a handicap match or whatever else. So I'm interested to see what they come up, or maybe they come up with a tag partner for Shane. I don't know, but Bryan's been off TV for 2-3 weeks, so I'm interested to see what they come back with as far as the story for this.
Yeah,
or maybe maybe they give us some real good news. Or maybe they do something like I said to you the other day. Like, what if he's been off TV for 2 weeks because they cleared him on the low. No one's been told anything, and then next thing you know, like, imagine how crazy it would be if, like, given what we all know about Shane or know about Daniel Bryan, where like he can't get no contact, like he's like Paige, like no contact whatsoever, and then next thing you know, like they beat the hell out of him too.
Yeah.
You know how much heat that would get if you beat the hell if you give Daniel Bryan a beat down right now?
Yeah. Like, without nobody knowing, we think they can't touch that man,
that'd be like
all that stuff.
That'd be like as big a deal as like the headbutt was in October.
Yeah, if they whoop Daniel Bryan's ass, I'm gonna want to fight him. So that would be some real heat, for Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. And then, like, it probably would end up into a situation where Shane and Daniel Bryan realize that neither one of these guys are shit. Like, even like how Shane thinks Daniel Bryan is kind of riding with them. Shane will figure out, hold on, Daniel's not really riding with them, and then Daniel will figure out, like, maybe Shane was right about these dudes. They really ain't shit. Like, after all this time, and then it leads to them reluctantly teaming up. Like, where, either like we're gonna have to put an end to this problem ourselves.
Yeah, like a Shane Bryan. Yeah, like a Shane Bryan versus Owens and Zayn tag match would be like beyond anything I'd imagine for what like Sami Zayn could have gotten, given what they've done with him since he turned heel. Like, he's been incredible. Like, the promo he cut earlier on that show was great, but you always have your worries with him because like they beat him like a drum, and he doesn't feel like a main event heel, even though he is a main event heel, and even though he like does really great stuff on TV, every opportunity he gets, it's just you don't really see it for him. Like, you don't really see them like, given what they do with him on TV as far as the results of the matches, like it's hard for you believe that like they think that guy, and given what he's going to be doing, like he's not going to have a singles match or whatever. He's not like in the title match. He's like, we were trying to figure out like what are they going to do for them, and this where they at. Like, I thought before this popped up over last Sunday that they were going to be put with the Usos and the New Day in a tag match, and right. I mean that's really cool. But, like, even a week before that, like, there were rumors that, like, they were going to be in the Andre the Memorial Battle Royal. I'm like, dude, that's a failure.
Yeah.
Like, why would you do that? Why would you do that to Kevin Owens? Like, Kevin Owens is, like, one of your 4 biggest guys in the company. 4 or 5 biggest guys in the company on the everyday roster. So, I'm glad that they're getting something besides that, because that was, like, oof, like, y'all, like, did Sami Zayn really piss him off that bad when they took that powder instead of getting beat down?
Yeah.
And got sent home over the winter from the European tour. Was it really that bad?
Yeah. So next thing.
But quick question.
Yeah.
I got a question though. If it is in fact, because if it's not Daniel Bryan, what would you like to see as far as a tag partner for Shane?
As far as a tag partner, and do they have to be on the roster or no?
No. Dealer's choice.
Okay. I mean, nah, they can't do that. They can't have Vince out there fighting Kevin Owens.
Oh my God! Get the fuck out of here!
They can't do that.
The McMahon boys.
Yes, the McMahon boys against the Canadians. Unbelievable. And we know who's doing the job that night. Sami Zayn. I don't know, man. Maybe I think Shane is forced into a situation where he's has to look for help in unlikely places. Like, he's gonna have to turn to someone like Dolph Ziggler or Baron.
I thought you were gonna say Baron Corbin. I was like, are you serious? All right.
He might have to turn to help, like, from somebody. I'm not sure. I think Daniel Bryan being cleared is the only saving grace of this. Otherwise, they're probably headed to another triple threat match.
Oh, God.
To go with the other 12 that are on the show.
It would be so hard to believe because, like, they just got Sami Zayn and Owens back together after breaking up for, like, one night. And, like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
Y'all broke up for one night and y'all back together. Like, this is their issue with WWE is, like, when they have a breakup coming or whatever else, they always have to tease it, let it pass. Tease it, let it pass. And then by the time they finally do it in Fire, like, it's past its peak and no one, like, gives a shit. Like, think of what they did with I mean... They only did it once, so it wasn't that bad. But like they did it with Alexa and Nia. Yeah. They did it like 5 different times with Sasha and Bayley. They did it with Miz and Mizdow. Remember that? Like they always have to go past the peak. Like just let them do it. Like they teased the Shield breaking up a couple of times. Remember that?
Yep. Yeah.
So like. When are you gonna like learn that like you don't want to fuck this up? Just like figure it out. Remember when they teased getting Ambrose and Rollins back together last year? When like leading up to it, it's like man, just do it already. Right. People are dying for it. Do it now for the crowd says fuck off.
Right. To your point earlier,
they run the risk of that.
To your point earlier about Russell Westbrook, he ended the Toronto Raptors 11-game win streak today, and he had 37, 13, and 14. He ain't playing with these boys. He heard. Oh, y'all gonna leave me off the All-NBA team? All right.
I think there's 10 games left in the season.
There's like another
so like this
3 weeks.
This definitely sway some things.
Another 3 weeks. So yeah, let's talk about Nia Jax and Alexa Bliss next. They did their angle or the start to their angle where Alexa Bliss was backstage with a boom mic with Mickie James, and she basically was selling out, talking all that noise about Nia Jax, and Nia Jax came back there and was like, "Hold up." And she ended up destroying the back room after Alexa skedaddled out of there, and she was told that everyone has heard and seen your comments, and basically she about to get squashed now. So what did you make of this whole thing? And also, it's abundantly clear they have no women writing this, right?
Oh yeah, like the whole like shrieking. Yeah, it was whatever. I like the storyline what they did, except for the part where like she just falls apart in tears. I like the fact she tore up the thing being furious, but like that was just like nothing but like scorn, hurt, or whatever else. And like, granted, like that is a mean, hurtful thing to say, but like it wasn't like I don't know. Maybe I'm looking too back at what their history is, where like she's turned on her before or whatever, and then like switched up and like decided to protect her again. But all the work before that part, I thought was really, really good. And like now we understand why Mickie James is now put with Alexa, because Alexa now needs like she's gonna need somebody to basically be a proxy for her, because like they get them in the ring together. Like Alexa's gonna tear her limb from limb. So now Mickie has to get has to wear that ass whooping for Alexa, and that also plays the fact that like Alexa's a master manipulator because she's a POS.
Right. This match still gonna be trash, right?
I think it's gonna be too short for it to be trash. I think like if it goes 4 minutes, how can it be trash?
Yeah, hopefully they get her in there and Nia Jax drops her with like 5 or 6 power bombs and pins her like Ultimate Warrior pinned Macho Man Randy Savage at WrestleMania 6 with the foot on the chest.
I don't think it's gonna be that dominant, but I think it's gonna be like a situation where like she whoops her. She comes out full of rage or whatever else. Mickie tries to get interfere. Mickie gets some hands, and then Alexa tries to cheat for a roll up. It doesn't work, and then she has to pay the piper, and she takes that L. I think that they're going to use Nia to be like the champion until it's time to put Rousey over, and you give Rousey like this big test like go through the whole women's division, and then like the final test is taking on Alexa. I'm not Alexa, but Nia, and then she overcomes Nia, and then we go through the rest of the year, and then you set up the Asuka or Charlotte match for WrestleMania 35. And you know, if you build that up well enough, it's good. It should be good enough to main event.
Yeah, man. So on the other side of that, you mentioned earlier the Charlotte and Asuka thing got started this week. Asuka issued an old-fashioned challenge right after Charlotte became victorious over Ruby Riott. Asuka immediately came out there and was like, "What to do? I want your belt. Run it. You're not ready." And She there was a great shot of Asuka, her mask on the Titantron while Charlotte was standing in the ring holding the belt up, and I thought that was a great. We bang on their camera work so often, and you know forget to make sure to shout them out. But I think Charlotte and Asuka, this is. I didn't even know that this was going to happen. I mean, you know from the dirt sheets and everything like that, but it's like, I didn't even really, like, ever think about these two. You know how we were doing the Kanye bracket? It's like, wow, I would have never, like, thought to really compare these two. And seeing it's like, wow, they went ahead and this is what they wanted to do with Asuka the whole time to get her for Charlotte. Like, and I don't feel like they've changed from any type of plans or anything, but it's like, so they do know what we want to see.
Yeah.
Like I saw someone like
turns out they do.
I saw someone with a phrase that I liked on Twitter today, and it's called light bulb booking. And this is a thing Gato is so good at in New Japan, and what he's done with the New Japan Cup, where you never quite know what they're doing, but it's obvious as fuck after, like, when you get to it, and it's like, wow, I didn't even know I wanted that. And that's the beauty of booking. I think this is an example of that, because Styles versus Nakamura was telegraphed months away. Lesnar versus Reigns was telegraphed months away. I mean, with Asuka and Charlotte, it's like they brought Asuka up onto Monday Night Raw, all the way away from her. They have Charlotte win the title over on SmackDown. Asuka goes through the entire Monday Night Raw roster, the Survivor Series, everything like that. They've literally been kept in two different worlds. And I think this is a great example of booking and not showing your hand and feeling like you're, like it's preordained, it's predetermined, like, to what the hell was going to go on with Asuka all this time. The only thing that may have given it away is that she didn't challenge her right away. It's like, because, yeah, we knew Charlotte had to have, SmackDown had another pay-per-view, and I think that only comes into effect because of the way the calendar was, that SmackDown had another pay-per-view, but had that not been the case, this is brilliance.
Yeah, I think I'm kind of don't recognize it because I didn't see it until you brought it up, because of the reports of what the WrestleMania card was, even 2 months ago when it said that this was going to happen. So maybe like that definitely does take away, like, when you know what's going to happen going in, like, you kind of do lose focus on, like, what they did to get to this point, and after you lay it out, like, yeah, they did do a very good job with this. One of the things I would say is, like, we give crap to WWE, or I give crap to WWE, because, like, Vince, for the most part, say what you want, like, when it comes to the top two angles on a show, like, he's still really good, fairly consistently good at getting those two things over, but, like, he pretty much has made it to where, like, there's no fucking mid-card, right? Because, like, he just does not give a shit about anybody's storyline outside of, like, the two top matches that are selling the card a lot of times. Mm-hmm. In this case, because, it's also in part because of WrestleMania season, like, for this to be, like, the fifth biggest, most important match on the WrestleMania card, and to have that kind of thought put into it, I think it's pretty master. I can't even say the word. I was trying to think of something besides brilliant, but, like, yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
I was gonna say it's a master stroke of genius, but yeah, like, it was really creative, and I think, like, is there any other match that you want? Like, for me personally, like, I think that of all the matches that they have on the card, of things I'm most interested in wanting to see from a wrestling perspective, period, I think this might be the second most important match on the card to me. Mm-hmm. Behind only AJ and Nakamura. Everything else, like, I care more about
Right, or care less about.
Exactly. No, oh yeah, right. I mean, care less about. Yeah, because like, I mean, we've seen Lesnar, we've seen Brock like before. I mean, Lesnar and Reigns for, and like they had a great match. Like I'm fairly certain they're gonna have another great match. So like I'm not really worried about that. I'm really more worried about like the build and like what the future of Lesnar and Reigns after this, immediately after. But like from just like going in and actually seeing like top notch wrestling in a singles match on WrestleMania, like we never really had this for WrestleMania with two women. Like the closest thing would probably be what Mickey and Trish at 22, but like they had a storyline of a Spider storyline in it. It wasn't just like the two best women we may have ever had from a technical standpoint in the ring together, you know, in their primes going at it. Like we never really had a match presented to you with two women like that. Yeah. So I think like this I'm definitely interested.
Yeah. So now that you bring that up, the best women that we've ever had, WWE released a list of the top 10 women's matches of all time, according to them. You know, so this is strictly their list. It doesn't have to be anything like as far as like you don't need to look at it like, hey, you might have a different top 10 than they do, but let's just go for it. So number 10 was the Women's Royal Rumble match, which I liked a great deal and thought that they really did a good job with.
Yeah, great match, but I don't think it would actually be one of their 10 best women's matches. I really don't think so. Like I'm sure there's another Raw match between Charlotte and Sasha that was better than the actual Royal Rumble match. But I mean, it was still a great event. Yep.
And that's like a big moment and all that. Number 9, you got Alexa Bliss and Bull Nakano at SummerSlam. I'm sure Sierra would scold me if I didn't praise this match, but I just haven't watched it in a long time, so I'd have to go back and see it. So if Sierra, if you're listening to this, I apologize. Yeah. Number 8, Charlotte Flair and Bayley for the Raw Women's title on the February 13th episode of Raw in 2017, where Bayley won the championship.
Yep, and that was a great match. And I, you know, at that point in time, like it looked like we were actually on, you know, some pretty good storytelling momentum with all of that, because like you had the Sasha was hurt. Sasha came out there and helped Charlotte because Dana Brooke was cheating. And you had to tie in like what's the future hold between Sasha and Charlotte and Bayley, and especially because it was January, like going into WrestleMania season, or February, I can't remember what month, but like there was, especially after what happened between Charlotte and Sasha in 2016, you thought that like they're just going to continue having like great women's feuds and all that kind of thing, and we were wrong, but yeah, like that was that's kind of what that match like showed you, like that's what they could have done.
Right.
That's what we thought we were all going.
Following one, Paige versus Emma for the NXT Women's title at NXT TakeOver Arrival. And that was a classic match in itself that you could literally point to, like, that's the moment the game changed for the women in WWE. So neither one of these women are wrestling for WWE anymore. So kind of a somber note. Any thoughts about that match, James?
Yeah, it's like the first one to pop up all this stuff. Like, I mean, you had that, and then what? 3 months? Is it 3 months later, or is it 6 months later? They do the Charlotte and Natalya.
I think that one is like 3 months later. Yeah, like 3 months later.
Okay.
After that, we got number 6, Trish versus Lita for the women's title on the December 6th episode of Raw. I'm going to assume they were talking about the one where Lita damn neared herself with the neck.
Yep, that's how you remember that match. The one where she almost breaks her nose and her neck. Yep.
Number 5, they've got Bayley versus Charlotte versus Becky Lynch versus Sasha for the NXT Women's title at NXT TakeOver Arrival, and that's when Sasha Banks won the NXT title for the first time by pinning Charlotte. Number 4, Asuka versus Ember Moon for the NXT Women's title at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 3 last summer. I was shocked to see a lack of Asuka on this list, but that was like her only appearance. Number 3, Charlotte versus Sasha versus Becky at WrestleMania 32, or as James calls it, the main event of WrestleMania 32.
Yeah. Like, you go look on the card or go to Pro Fight DB or go to the wiki and look at the match layout of WrestleMania 32 if you ever watch it. And then you remember how bad everything was after that, where it was the Hell in a Cell match, the main event with Reigns and Triple H, The Rock doing his 20-minute thing where he squashes Rowan or whatever else. Yeah. And you think to yourself, wow, like I can say to myself a lot of time if I just turn this shit off when Charlotte wins the title and then they show the pyro on the outside. Then you just imagine that they went to black and then go on with your day. WrestleMania 32 feels a lot more fun when you get rid of those other fucking matches.
Yes. Number 2, Charlotte versus Sasha in Charlotte, North Carolina, in the July 25th episode of Monday Night Raw. I think that is the show where it is right after the brand split and Sasha Banks wins the championship. For me, it seems like they didn't want to put all the Sasha and Charlotte matches on here that they could have, because for me, the real one is the street fight, and that one I think got our TV match of the year, and that one is where Charlotte or Ric Flair came out and handed the belt to Sasha. That was the real one.
That is a street fight. No, the one in Charlotte is a street fight.
Right. This one is the July 25th one where Sasha won the belt off of Charlotte.
Oh.
So.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, every single episode, every single July 25th.
Yeah.
So is that the first episode of the brand split?
Yes.
Okay. Well, to be honest with you, like all 3 of their matches where they changed the title to Sasha on Raw, all those matches are classics. Yep. So, you know.
Yeah, they just picked one.
I guess they chose that one because I think they chose that one because that is actually like the best episode of Raw ever. Like you got 4-star matches on that, or near 4-star matches on a 3-hour show on a free TV. Like that's really WWE doesn't do no shit like that. So I think that's maybe why they put that on there. But yeah, like for me, I would put the Charlotte match on there, or the Charlotte North Carolina match on there.
And number 1, Bayley versus Sasha Banks at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn. Famously, 4.5 stars from Dave Meltzer. Also, Asuka and Ember Moon got 4.5 stars, so take that however you want. I don't see an issue with this list. Like, one thing I wanted to point out, Alexa Bliss is nowhere in fucking sight. She's trash. She is not having great matches. She is not having good matches. She is not having critically acclaimed work. Being done inside the ring. All her matches are the same. They end with a fucking turnbuckle spot and someone getting DDT'd and you don't know it's the finish. Like, no. Where is Alexa Bliss, James? Any thoughts on this? For her to have a fucking stranglehold on this championship and not be anywhere on this fucking list right here. Not found. Parts unknown. Lost.
You taking the words out my mouth? I have nothing really to add. Like, I'm just letting you go ahead and take off with it because, like, I feel the exact same way. I have the same exact sentiment as you. For her to be a 4-time women's champion and for her to literally lord over the Raw Women's title after everything that's happened, like, I think that, like, yeah. Like, it's cool that, like, it is so funny to me because, like, given how much really good mic work she's done, like legitimately good mic work, not just like that's cute, like legitimately good mic work she's done over the last like 3-4 weeks. Like she's looking more and more like the female Miz, and like we are, and like look, you love Miz, you some Miz so much, and I like Miz a lot too, but like I would never want him to be the actual champion because at the end of the day he's a fucking geek that talks shit with the belt. And this is exactly what, and he's not really a person that can go out there in the ring and go out there and have an AJ Styles type of caliber match week in and week or month out and month out on pay-per-view like that. And that's what the standard should be. But we lower the standard for Alexa, just like if you make Miz the champion, the main champion, you'll be lowering the standard. So you can deal with that however you want to. You can make it. I mean, like you like who you like, you don't like who you like, and that's how you want to justify it. But like but me, in the words of Rance, I've been consistent throughout this whole thing. If you ain't good enough, your ass don't need to be with the top title. Leave it alone. But that's where we're at right now. So I'll let you answer that. I'll let you defend yourself.
Yeah. So with Miz, where I feel like it's different, we have years of quality promos. We have years of him punching above his weight class with these matches. We have the Dean Ambrose feud to point to. We have the Dolph Ziggler feud to point to.
No, we don't have years. We have like 1 year of that.
Okay. Well, look at this. Look at it like this.
Sorry?
Well, look at it like this. The way WWE TV is right now, the amount of programming, 1 year is like 3 years, essentially. Like, in the old days. Like, so, what I have with Miz and why it's different from Alexa, we put people with Miz to save their careers, essentially. Like with Jason Jordan, you put him in there with Miz to see if he has anything. You put a Seth Rollins and a Finn Balor in there with Miz to like make sure that what they're looked at, like what they're doing, is still somewhat important. You don't have like Alexa Bliss hosting a talk show that has literally been an integral part of WWE storytelling for the past 5 years, like with Miz TV. I feel like Miz, like, and Alexa, like, Miz just has so much more like depth than her. Like the only things that you can compare is like, hey, they're a chicken shit champion and they might not have exciting matches all the time. But I feel like Miz can step up in class at a way higher level than Alexa can. Like those matches just be alright. Like Miz came out here and had some classics on the low with Ziggler, with Ambrose, with Reigns.
Yeah. Right. I think the thing is, like, I don't think they've given her the kind of stuff that Miz has been able to get, as far as, like, one, let's get it totally right. Miz is more talented than Alexa, right? I'm not saying that they're exactly the same thing. I'm saying that, like, they're in the same form of chicken shit person that cheats and lords over a title. I'm over that shit in 2018. Like, you didn't do this when you were in the top of like when WWE historically has been a territory and a wrestling promotion that has had huge successes on the backs of the baby faces. I don't need you to reverse course and like beat me the fuck down for years. Maybe stop watching television with Triple H lording over the fucking title with Jinder Mahal for 6 months, cratering your SmackDown rating by being champion, by being the chicken shit they don't deserve it. Like I'm just like, unless you're as good as Miz, like I really don't want to see somebody like do with that shtick.
Right.
But anyway, I think that for me personally, with Alexa, when Alexa was doing this stuff, like she was not actually displaying like that level of mic skill until the last like 3-4 weeks. Like she was out there saying cute stuff and showed that she had a command of being able to speak in front of the crowd. Like she was a lot closer to the Drifter as far as the command on the mic than by cutting cute shit as opposed to stuff that's actually truly memorable and stuff that you think like, damn, that takes some real talent to do. When I mean Drifter, I don't mean the guitar playing. Like that does take talent. I'm talking about like the mic stuff and be able to write the lyrics out to sing those songs. Like that don't really impress me. What Alexa did after the Asuka match with Nia, where she basically narrates like the reason why you should like Nia. I thought it was excellent. Like when she came out there and talked all that shit about like, yeah, I told her I loved her and we gonna beat her up if she don't do what we tell her. And I control her and then called her, all types of big and kind of stuff. Like I thought that was great work. Like she's completely fucking detestable. And she finally displayed all the stuff people were saying about like why she deserves or why she should be given a spot that she has. Before then, I was just saying like she cuts cute promos and her matches are mediocre.
Yeah. Meanwhile,
that's my line. Like
it's just been Sasha Banks outperforming her for a year.
Miz from time to time, once or twice a year, will go out there and give you a 4-star caliber match. Absolutely. But Miz also, you got to keep in mind, Miz has been doing this for how long now?
He's been in WWE since like 2006.
Wow, longer than a decade. So yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe and maybe Alexa eventually gets there in 5 years, whatever. I don't know, but that's the issue with all this stuff. Like, stop picking girls that don't have a wrestling background.
Yeah. It's interesting, man, because I mean, we saw Sasha Banks all over that top 10 list, and all they do is just take the belt from her and not let her be champion and not let her be literally, she's done almost all that stuff with the wrong character alignment. Like, do y'all want to just go ahead and just fall into this natural, money making shit, or y'all want to keep playing with it?
Yeah.
And I think they want to keep playing with it at this point.
Yeah. And that's the weird thing is, when we were just talking earlier about how they've been teasing the Sasha and the Bayley breakup for so long, and are they ever going to do it? And we always thought, especially after Royal Rumble, that like this whole thing is like a setup for Sasha to turn, and so she can finally become what she always could have been, even when you saw it on NXT, which is like this gigantic, great heel that you want to see every single week. And I don't know, man. Like, what do you think about this right now? Do you think they're going to be putting the WrestleMania Women's Battle Royal?
I feel like that's where they're going to be. I don't think they're going to end up with a solo spotlight, just because right now it looks like there are 14 matches on the book, and that's if you don't include Sasha and Bayley on there. And
right,
I think if you make it to where those are the final two and they get a mini match inside of that, maybe that's enough, and then maybe Sasha cheats to win and then you're off to the races from there. I could live with it.
Yeah, but I'm kind of trying to figure out, like, how do you cheat in a battle royal?
Well, she would have to,
without like grabbing a weapon from outside the ring.
She would have to use some type of underhanded tactic. Like, she'll have to like rake the eyes, she'll have to use brass knucks, fuck it, like something, like to basically like incapacitate Bayley and just throw her over the top rope, or like, I don't know. I think we need that mini match in there though. Like that is the key. That's how I would get around them not being scheduled for an official match. The whole entire WrestleMania Women's Battle Royal, this is the Sasha Banks versus Charlotte match, and all of y'all are window dressing in here. Or excuse me, the Sasha Banks versus Bayley WrestleMania match, all y'all are window dressing. Cool, we'll have y'all around. We'll shine a light on you this way. And then, at the end when the smoke is cleared, it comes down to Sasha Banks and Bayley. And then the crowd's like, oh shit, they gave us the match anyway. Like,
hey, I got a question.
Yeah,
I got a question. And because of the Battle Royal, if they're gonna try to make it good, because the first one ever, which I would hope they do, like try to make every match good. But then again, I watched the 2015. I heard the review for the 2015 Royal Rumble from Brian and Lawler the other day, and like it's even worse now. Somehow, like the match gets worse every single year.
Bro, it's
every
worse,
time anyone talks about reviewing that match, it gets worse every year. But if they actually wanted to, showcase some of this stuff and make it like kind of similar to a Royal Rumble as far as having things that pop you besides just watching like a whole bunch of like humanity inside the ring, then like do they have to like find a way to get Paige into the ring without taking any bumps or anything, and like do an Absolution versus Riot Squad, and they're the Shield and the Wyatts?
Oh shit!
Or are both squads not over enough for that?
Fuck no! Hey, they ain't close over enough. they ain't close over enough for none of that. Like Ruby Riott and Paige be looking at each other like it's a mirror match. Like all that alt stuff. Like that's that's their WrestleMania moment right there, I guess.
That alt stuff.
That other shit.
That's terrible.
But yeah, man, I think it needs to break down to where it ends up as a Sasha versus Bayley thing, and they end up essentially thrilling the crowd for like 5 to 7 minutes until someone's eliminated and someone feels a certain type of way about it. Hell, you could even have Bayley win, and then you have Sasha Banks act like she's congratulating her, and then the turn happens and really get it popping in these streets. But and have her bust the trophy over Bayley's head. Like,
yes.
Boom.
Yeah, that would be great. I'd be 100% in on that. If like you have Bayley be able to be basically a player again and chase after a heel that did her wrong. Like I would love that. Yeah.
So last thing I want to talk about was Braun Strowman. Essentially, Braun Strowman in these hands competing for the tag team championships, winning the tag team battle royal, drawing a number in the process, doing it, and like this is Strowman's position now in the WrestleMania thing. Is this like okay?
Could have done better. Obviously, he could have been, in the main event.
Look, there's a big difference on his check too. Yeah.
I mean, it's a cute thing to keep him away from the title and to, keep him away from actually both top individual men titles. So, cool. I would love to see what team's gonna beat him for those belts.
Like they're gonna have to call it the Authors of Pain. Like they're gonna have to beat that man. Now, so I've seen some people float a theory out that maybe Elias will be inserted with Braun Strowman to challenge Cesaro and Sheamus for these belts. Personally, I don't think they need it. Like, I don't think they need to muddy up Strowman with none of that, like, guitar stuff and all that, because, like, Elias will do nothing but cause confusion for Strowman. I think...
Hey.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah, I'm here.
So, if you were Elias, will you be anywhere in the vicinity around Braun Strowman after that man will whoop your ass twice like that?
Fuck no.
Because I wouldn't.
Fuck no. Like, I ain't trying to...
They'll have to explain that.
They had to explain a lot. Like, obviously, Strowman could have been in the main event. He was the guy everyone wanted to see whoop Lesnar. This is better than putting a singles title on him, I think, because you don't have to do necessarily the shenanigans that you might have to do to get that belt off of him with the tag team titles. You could eventually force him to get a partner, and then they lose, and everything like that. And the tag team title essentially will become the Braun Strowman championship, like not necessarily the tag team championship, like how Kenny Omega, I was saying, it's not the IWGP US title. This is the Kenny Omega heavyweight championship of the world. That's pretty much what the Braun Strowman, the Braun Strowman in these hands tag team championship will be. Like it's literally like, if you don't want to go anywhere else with the bar and you want to like break them up eventually or send them to SmackDown, you don't have a tag team on the horizon on Raw right now, seeing as how the Revival are buried 60 feet deep under the red clay right now. And who else is on Raw? The Club?
Hey, bruh, like you talking about the Revival's burial. The Revival is out here buried next to Eric Killmonger's ancestors.
Unbelievable.
In the bottom of the fucking ocean.
So check this out. Speaking of Killmonger, right? Bro, someone created Killmonger in the WWE 2K18 in the store. Bro, I downloaded that man and started squashing people immediately with Killmonger.
That's funny.
Yeah. But, yeah, so...
what's his finish?
I think they gave him a Sister Abigail. So, I don't know. But he has another... I think he has another move. I don't remember. I have to check it out, but I'll probably go in there and edit his moveset and do one of these gameplay videos, Killmonger versus whoever. So whoever y'all want to see me whoop with Killmonger, let me know. But yeah, I think that's going to wrap it up.
Have him whoop Vince. Have him whoop Mr.
I think
McMahon.
Vince is in the game. Yes, I think Vince is in the game. So I'll do Killmonger and Vince McMahon and whoop that ass. I'll do Shane McMahon, all that stuff. So... anybody that you got a problem with, we're gonna send Killmonger in there with them to let them handle it. So, but that's
they come out here with this American badass taker that wants to talk about like motherfuckers should stand for the pledge, whoop his ass too.
Yeah, bro, that American badass Undertaker take on a whole new meaning in 2018. We didn't even talk about that, especially with Kid Rock going in the Hall of Fame and the Undertaker and. A lot of people in these streets right now, James, is asking for this American badass Undertaker because they want to see it. What do you think about this?
Well, he's been like apparently like there's word that he's been like talking about that about like about bigging up the national or the national anthem and all the other stuff during the Kaepernick thing. So like come back American badass. That's kind of like him falling into that. So it's like go ahead and get the video game, make Eric Hillhammer and whoop the American badass's ass.
Yeah, man. In that case, I'm going for John Cena. Even though John Cena got the American flag tatted on his jeans, if I'm not mistaken.
This is like rooting. This is like between American Badass Undertaker and John Cena. This is like rooting against which NFL team is less liberal. Like, nah, bro, they both bad. Just fuck both of them. Like, you may as well just not even watch the sport then if you talking about that.
Yeah. But yeah, man, that's pretty much gonna wrap up the show, man. We gone through all the topics, had a great time today. We lost the video halfway through. If you guys are watching the video version, we do have a part 2 of it that we started back up. So I'm going to try to compile some of these clips and publish them on the YouTube channel in the coming weeks. I'll have it cleaned up a little bit more. But make sure you guys listen to the rest of the lineup on the Social Suplex Podcast Network. The SMC podcast will be returning soon. Ricky and Clive always doing great work out of Scotland, as well as keeping it strong style, the Asa podcast, who have been just all over the New Japan coverage as of late. I believe they're deep in the middle of their New Japan Cup coverage, so if you're following that, those guys will have great things to talk about on the tournament. James, you got anything you want to talk about before we get up out of here?
Not too much. I think, let's see. Do you want to talk about the Social Suplex shirts?
Sure. What you got in mind?
Yeah, I mean, what are we selling them for?
So, I don't think we've determined that yet, but we did come up with another design. We were talking about it last night for the Wrestling Square Circle for all our members. Like, it was going to be like wrestling and then a literal square and a literal circle, and then with Social Suplex underneath, something like that we're going to try to come up with for the members of that group, when pricing probably will come out at a later date. So yeah, we had a couple of things we were talking about. If you guys are interested in these Social Suplex shirts that I'm wearing, though, make sure you contact Jeremy Donovan, and he will give you the details on how you can acquire one. And then we would love for you to wear one around and take pictures and just help us grow the brand, as we say. But that's going to wrap it up for me and James. We are up out of here. Peace.
Later.
Thank you for listening to One Nation Radio. We'll see you next time.